Evaluaciones de calidad. Los creadores de contenido son recompensados según el compromiso y el alcance de su publicación o comentario. Los evaluadores de contenido son recompensados en función de la velocidad y los resultados de sus predicciones. Los propietarios de la comunidad son recompensados en función del compromiso dentro de su comunidad. En Den, el contenido de calidad se paga.
Hello, good morning, and welcome to Coffee with Den. Today is Wednesday, November 11th, and in Florida Man time zone, it is 9 a.m. I'm going to share my desktop here, and we're going to go through some topics that I posted yesterday, and some people have left for me since then. I want to say good morning to Angel Breaker. Good morning to see what's your name. I don't know what your first name is. There's a couple of people that chimed in this morning already, and I saw Rockstar up. So if any of you are around, Dragon Zach, let's see who else here. Vujmilo, good morning. Peter Tom, good morning. Hyperdeflationary Dev, good morning. Who else do we have here? Tahir, good morning. Rockstar, good morning. Modezi, good morning. Good to see you again. Civex, howdy, good morning. So yeah, lots of input this time. So thanks for that. I appreciate it. I was gonna start with my list, but I think I'll just start from the top of the questions. I'll leave my screen right here. And if you go to Den and you go in the Den layer and you find this post, there's a link down at the bottom where it says join the call. Click here. If you wanted to hop on and chat with me, you'll be live. You know, it's pretty casual. It's fine. Don't be intimidated. And you can ask me some questions, and I'll see what I can do to answer them on air, or just say good morning and have some coffee with me. It's up to you. That was our Portuguese advertisement that was played on the intro. We've got a bunch of different languages. Of course, we're trying to, reach out to all humans all over the world. So I think next time I'll play a different one and just kind of rotate through them. I'm not sure who's watching and what languages you speak. So maybe that can be something that you put down in the comments too, to let us know what we should make more ads for that community. So anyway, like I said, Coffee with Den. Pretty lazy this morning. Weather's nice in Florida though, and I'm drinking a local brew called, I don't know if you can read that, but it's Sweetwater from Gainesville, Florida. I'm kind of a wave the local flag kind of guy, keep value in the community, that kind of thing. So yeah, these guys and gals are in Gainesville. They're free trade, organic. They probably ship. I don't see anything on here, but if you wanted to look it up, it's Sweetwater Organic Coffee out of Gainesville, Florida. This one's called Brown Sugar Blend. My wife got it for me. Tasting notes. Let's see if I can taste the notes. It says, when coffee meets sweet, a delightful treat. The name says it all. Tasting notes are honey graham, sweetness, caramel, and clementine. I can get the graham a little bit. The honey graham, I got that. Caramel maybe, but clementine? I don't know if I know what clementine reads like. Tastes like. My brain's not booted up yet. Words. But I do know it's pretty good. I put a little. I've been putting oat milk in mine. I'm usually a black coffee. Historically, in my Navy days, we always drank black coffee. And what was that thing we used to say? Looks like muddy water and tastes like turpentine. That was the Navy coffee that we had. That's what the Navy runs on, is coffee. So there's my coffee review. I thought I'd start doing some. I want to buy some of that Doge coffee that they have. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. When I see meme products popping up, I always like to get involved because I've got a weird sense of humor. So let's jump into the questions. What have we got here? Most of the agenda was Den stuff. There's some Dragon Chain things. I wanted to review Shottle since it was, or Super Happy, or SHDL, or however you want to pronounce it. The episode from yesterday, I think that's a pretty good thing that I could probably do every time. Just give a little recap. And then I'll touch on the LCP, the layers for November, and the ones that were created in October, and the governance call that is tomorrow. And the I got a reminder about the blockchain roundtable that's tomorrow too. Some interesting info there. As far as guests, I'll hope to have a couple, but no promises. I'll mention that in a bit. So right down to and good morning, MB Crypto. I don't think I said good morning to you. My bad. Right down to this. So MB Crypto brought up something that I mentioned in the either in the agenda or before, but wants to know more about how Matter payments payouts are determined. That's a good question, and it's something that can be complicated to explain. Let me read the rest of his question here, though. And if you're not a him, I'm sorry, his or her question. I don't know actually. All content is in competition with other content for that day. Consensus timing and magnitude of votes are involved. Similar metrics for evaluators and voters. You're participating in a consensus decision and are weighted against other votes as well as how early you vote. I think this was notes from yesterday's Super Happy episode. And yeah, I do want to talk about that a little bit, because if you look at other, there's a few other social media projects that are doing cryptocurrency payouts for content and stuff like that. But the way that we're doing it, what's sort of unique about Den is we're really treating everything that you do on the platform as a marketplace. And also from my perspective as like using the marketplace algorithm, I guess, system as a way to incentivize people to perform certain tasks that we need done on the website to make it useful, right? So let's say for a moment, let's step out of reality and pretend that we are an old like Web 2 Facebook or something like that, right? The model there is that they need to hire a bunch of people to do all these community management tasks and filter out the bad stuff and censor things and keep control of people and make sure that the advertisers are happy. Mostly make sure the advertisers are happy, and that's real. They hold hands for politicians and things like that. I remember, small sidebar, I guess I won't get too off topic. You know how I am. I used to work in DC, and one of our customers was a new Facebook office that they had opened up there in one of the buildings. The building was our customer, not Facebook, but they had a floor. And I remember going through there and working, with them, and they had, it was a political campaign cycle, and they were just straight up, working hand in hand with people that were running for office, and they were not just offering up the automated tools that they had on the website, which I've used as a band manager and like local advertising, really good stuff. Hey, good morning, BitBuy. Good morning to you as well. And they were going above and beyond, and I'm assuming that the campaign money was used to pay Facebook for this time, but they had several people working for Facebook that were like full-time managing that customer, spending all this money on advertising. How do you get them to win? They're paying to win, basically. How do we do that? All that stuff. When you centralize a system like that, we've seen what it becomes over time. It isn't what it started with. And back to what I was talking about, the way that we're doing things on Den that's different is, instead of centralizing our objectives and centralizing our goals, what we're doing is we are offering anybody who wants to show up and learn how to use the system to treat the algorithm as their employer and do tasks that are specifically incentivized. And those tasks include downvoting stuff. If it's terrible content or it doesn't belong in the layer, or other people are going to find this annoying or spammy, get it out of the way, right? Don't be mean about it. Some people are, I'll mention this later too. Some people are a little bit emotional this month, it seems like. But a downvote is not a negative, like screw you kind of thing. It's more of a doesn't fit here type deal, right? You're giving someone feedback, and you're giving them feedback without having to let them know who you are, which is important. so that you can honestly vote on stuff. And that action, specifically the downvote, has its own little reward pool. And this is getting back to the question where how's matter payouts determined? So we incentivize different tasks and different jobs, and we don't care who does it as long as they do it correctly, right? And correctly, that means in consensus with other people that are also trying to do the same thing in the same layer, right? If a bunch of people vote the same direction on a post, you've reached a consensus. The community has said, okay, that's bad content. And the person who first voted on that, they're also saying, okay, if you're the first person that voted on this and you did vote it down, they're saying you did your job correctly. So it isn't a business or a company saying, here's how to do your job. It's a business or a company saying, here's the rule book. Everybody go out and police yourselves. And as long as you do these things, you'll get rewarded. You'll get paid out in matter proportionally to that day, how you've compared against other people doing the same job. And anybody can just walk up. I say walk up. Anybody can turn their computer on or their phone or download the app. And you can start doing these jobs and you start getting rewarded, right? So the downvote, that's a separate pool. The upvote, completely separate from the downvote, there's an upvote pool of rewards. There is obviously a content creator pool of rewards, right? Separate pool that you're competing with other content creators for whenever you are posting posts on Den. There is what else is there? I'm blanking for a second. There's obviously the boosts. Somebody else asked it about boosts, and it might be the same question actually. Let's see here. Yeah, topic boosts. So you can also earn by sending external boosts to people that might want to hear about it. That's a separate topic. I can talk about boosts internal and external separately. But that's a way, there's a pool of money there. I'm forgetting one, but the point is all the different tasks, everything that you do on the site is, it goes into this algorithm, and then every day you get paid out based on yesterday's activity. Everyone gets paid out of the same overall 1,000 tokens that get minted every day, they get distributed every day. Those 1,000 tokens are split up into these different pools that I talked about for upvotes and downvotes and all that stuff. And then that goes through the, sorry, I just smacked my microphone. I hope it didn't hurt anyone's ears if you have headphones in. That goes through and pays everyone out. One reason to do that with different pools like that is because everybody doesn't like to post on social media. Everybody doesn't like to be putting themselves out there like that. And so you don't have to do that. You can simply be a really good evaluator. You can decide, okay, I'm going to take these 5 layers because they're subjects that I enjoy. I know what's good about science and space technology. I know what's good about cannabis. I know what's good about political discussion, right? I can mediate those topics. So you can just be an evaluator full-time on Den, earn rewards for that, upvote, downvote, and that's all you ever do. That comes out of the evaluator's reward pool. It doesn't come out of the creator's reward pool. While you're doing that, though, you're contributing to the creators who you're evaluating, depending on how you vote. And I'll go a little bit longer on this because there's some details that are important. When I said that the correctness of your actions is determined by the community who also votes along with you, and if you're in consensus with the community, then you're basically doing your job right. The important thing there is if you find a post that hasn't been evaluated yet, it says 0 energy on it, it hasn't been voted on yet. As the first person to evaluate something, you're going to get a larger percentage of that evaluator pool at the end of the day or the end of the next day, whenever the day is paid out, than people that come along after you and vote. So the earlier you are to evaluate stuff, this is an incentivization mechanism too, where we want to get quality content, of course, but we also want to say like, hey, push it up quick too. We want to incentivize people to go in there early and let us know what the quality posts are and let us know what the not quality posts are, so that when a casual reader who doesn't have an account shows up to just read what's on Den, they want to check out what's the latest in the cryptocurrency layer, they're presented with an excellent layer that's topical, relevant, maybe recent news. And then as they scroll down, it gets either older, like from previous days they didn't see, or it gets less relevant or off topic. And then you have, Joe talks about a dynamic range, right? The way you get that is how much you bet during your evaluation that you're right. So going back once again, you're the first voter, and it's a really good post, but nobody's seen it yet. You're the first one. And it's the beginning of the day. You've got fresh energy. It's been building up overnight while you're asleep. And you want to try to use this post to earn a little bit of extra matter on your next payout. So what you do is you vote it up to give like what direction, decide what pool you're evaluating for, right? Are you evaluating for the negative trending pool, or are you evaluating for the positive trending pool? So we're going to vote it up in this scenario. And then additionally, and I will, I should bring this up right now on screen just to show, let's see what I haven't. I think I've voted on all of this stuff. I wonder if I can still, I haven't here. That's me though. Angel Breaker, perfect. So let's say I vote this up, and then this is hypothetically this other post that we're talking about, right? So I'll bring this slider over and I'll use up a bunch of my energy really early on it as kind of a wager or a bet. Like I'm so confident that I'm right that anybody else who votes on this, I'm pretty sure they're going to agree that this is good content and they're going to vote it up. When that happens, the first person's initial energy bet or wager or I don't know what other a word to use, but you're basically risking this much energy from today on this post in an attempt to mine more matter out of it. So when the consensus comes around, like maybe 10 people voted with you, 2 people voted against you. The 2 people that voted against you do affect a little bit, but not really. You get a percentage of your of all the energy that's in there that anybody's put in there, yours plus anyone else's. Actually, let me back up. We changed something, and I'm not, just a disclaimer, I don't have clarity on this. I'm going to look it up and see what the new system's like. But I'm pretty sure now that both the negative energy and the positive energy goes into the overall reward pool, and everyone gets paid out of that energy reward pool. I'm sorry, you get weighted on your matter payouts based on that energy reward pool. And the earlier people that voted get more of it, and the people that voted later on get less of it, if that makes sense. So we're pushing you to like try to vote earlier if you can, because it just helps keep things organized. I hope that makes sense. So that's an example. It's not a full explanation, but there is a full explanation in the white paper. If you go to your settings in your account, at the bottom there is Den overview, Den white paper. The overview is great. It's a shorter, more like normal person friendly slide deck. And if you key through it, it tells you about the roles, it tells you about the matter supply, how many there are, gives you a little recap on energy, talks about lore and lot. It's a really good slide deck. If you haven't looked at it, I recommend going to your settings and finding the Den overview so that you can see what it's all about in a few slides. Otherwise, the white paper has the, let's see here. Yeah, the white paper has the details that you might be looking for if you're, if you really want to dig into the guts of how this works. And the white paper's got, well, you can just read, the list of what it's got. There's a lot of stuff that's broken down into, you'll see equations in here. You'll see the algorithm that we use, the token economy, the different splits. So I was talking about reward pools, right? Uptrend, downtrend, engagement, matter, energy. That's what I was forgetting. Energy use. So whenever you use up, when you use energy every day, your account has to build it back up again. And every 24 hours, you get all of your energy back, but that's split into 1 hour segments. So really, every 1 hour, you get 1/24th of your energy back. And as you build that energy back up, you're actually mining more matter. There's a whole different reward pool just for using the energy. And this is an incentivization for people to show up every day to work and use your energy up. Vote on things, reply on things that costs energy, post some content that you think is relevant that you don't see on there somewhere. There's some big news that's on Twitter. I see, like, I don't know what's trending on Twitter. There's MetaMask and Ripple and NASA astronauts. Astronauts return to Earth in a SpaceX capsule. So that's pretty cool. I'm really into space stuff. That's something that I could go to the, I'll just do it. That's something I could go to the Science and Space Lair. Where is it at? S. We should make a hotkey where you can just hit the letter S on your keyboard and it goes to it. So if I go over to the Science and Space Tech, by the way, if anybody wants to make a better banner, I made this. It's a No Man's Sky screenshot with Science and Space Tech on it. I want some more science stuff. It's just space banner stuff now, right? And this is where the community can kind of figure that out and vote on things once we get the governance rolled out soon. But I can scroll down and I can see, let's see, SpaceX Crew 2. Awesome, right? I voted on that already. Blue Origin loses his lawsuit, autonomous inspections. It does not seem to be anything about the landing, returning to Earth from the astronauts. I know Elon Musk tweeted about it when there was a recording of the Dragon crew capsule returning to Earth. It looked like a shooting star coming across the sky. So if you wanted to, if you were into that kind of thing, you could write up a short little post in this layer, and you can say, hey, they made it back safe. Here's some photos I found on the internet. Here's a tweet from Elon talking about it. This video that was taken, I forget even where, but you could make a short but like useful and interesting post, and that'll make money. That'll make matter. That'll earn you a reward. Because I know, at least, like, I'm an owner of the Science and Space Layer. So I'm going to look in here and I'm going to be like, oh, dope. Thanks for posting that, which obviously I haven't done for Julie and JPX 12X right now on these posts, but I'll come back after the show and look at them and catch up. So yeah, that's a very good way to do it too. White paper, I'll leave that up and I'll go back to where it was. Cool. So that's a pretty good, it's like 20 minutes on how matter payout works. So I'm going to probably move on from that. I am going to move on from that. The LCP voting, last month we had Throwbacks was the winner of the layer creation phase. If you don't know, layers are throttled intentionally, like how fast you can make them. On other websites like Reddit, you can just go in and spin up your own subreddit anytime you want, as long as nobody else has taken the name. And you just get all these crazy communities, and that's great, that's awesome. But they've also got the volume of users to make that work, to make that doable. And we are really concentrating on quality over quantity. Users are amazing. We want more users, of course, but we don't want content just for content's sake. We want quality content that makes people want to come to this website. So one of the things we can do is take it slow. Don't push for rapid growth too early. And then along with that growth, you can start creating layers faster and faster. We did, I want to say 2 or 3 months in a row where we actually did 10 layers per month. There were the top 5 layers that were voted by unique number of voters, and then the top 5 layers that were voted by the most votes, right? And so we churned out a bunch of layers at that time, and what we saw was we got duplicate layers, we got layers that turned into ghost towns kind of, which happens. That's natural. But it taught us that, okay, we need to scale back a little bit. We went back to 1 and 1. The end goal for that is for the system itself to not require manual human input to change that number. We want to measure the I don't know, either the volume or the growth. Measure the growth of the platform, and then every month the LCP should be automatic. It should turn itself on automatically with the correct number of layers based on the activity for that month. So we wanted to scale up basically, and we'll do more per month as we get more users. That's the reason for it being slower and only one at a time. It also gives us a chance to see what everybody's interested in, right? Look and see what people are voting on, what categories are missing, things like that. If I go over here to the LCP and bring this up, you'll see that we can use this as just public metrics that we can gauge interest on different topics. How much lore has been committed, the total votes, how many unique voters are voting for it that want it. I think it's really useful and I like it. I haven't seen it done this way, so that's pretty cool. Anything where the community can just own it and decide is great, because that's where we want to overall go to. So layer creation, if the voting isn't up right now, it will be this week or maybe the beginning of next, but get your lore ready and vote on the layers that you want to see show up. And as a note, someone asked, there's a difference between the lore that you buy out, if you buy lore on Uniswap and bring it in, and the lore that you mine for free just by using the site. The stuff that you mine is internal lore, and then that's going to be used up first to vote on layers before, like if you use all that up, then it'll use your external stuff that you've deposited. Just a side note if you care about that. Excuse me. All right, so let me go to the top and see, now that I've rambled for a moment, I'll go down and hit the other questions too, don't worry. We've talked about LCP a little bit. We've talked about, let's see, when you vote, yep, we just talked about that. Oh yeah, there's some smaller proposals down at the bottom. Here's something I've been doing. Let's talk about ownership of percentage ownership. Whenever you, oh, that's the wrong button. Whenever you vote, if your layer wins, I'll talk about this some more just because this is something that if you want to get involved in layer ownership and have that passive income based on how well your layer is doing, this is something you're going to want to learn how to use. Let's take collectibles, for example. Let's say this wins right now, just for argument's sake. I've got 1,000 lore signaled for collectibles, right? And among 21 voters, that means I would own 0.3% of that layer. So what that, sorry, my brain just rebooted itself again. Let me drink some more coffee, hold on. What that's saying is, of this 328,000 lore, you're gonna get 0.3% of that as LOT tokens, because the lore is going to be taken out and replaced with LOT, 1-for-1 ratio. And that's how you get all the owners that show up at the top of the layer list when you go to details. And so my 1,000 lore, I'll have 1,000 LOT. I'll have 1,000 NFTs that will prove that I'm an owner. It will allow me to vote whenever we have layer governance rolling out in the next several weeks, maybe a month or so. I don't know why I spit out a month. I've got no estimates on when that's going to come out. That's my personal internal feeling, so don't take that as gospel. But that's 1,000 votes, and it's a 0.3% vote among the whole community. So whenever there's things like changing the banner that comes up to it for a vote, you get to weigh in and you get 0.3% say of that. You also get 0.3% of the payouts that the layer owners get just for owning the layer. And that comes from the amount of matter that's mined. The stuff I was talking about earlier, all that takes place in separate layers. And so a cut of that goes to the layer owners as an incentive, once again, to make the layer better, to police it, to make sure people aren't talking about bottle rockets in the fishing layer or something, like off topic. And everything just kind of feeds into itself like that. So that's how ownership works. You just go in with some other people and say, yeah, let's do collectibles. I love collectibles. And you get on here and you vote with lore, and you say how many. It tells you how many you got in your wallet. I'm going to go throw another 1,000 in, right? Because I want to have at least 1%. So I'm going to throw, I'll throw 5,000 in there. How's that? And it calculates it here at the bottom. It tells you that'll give me 1.8%. So if I hit 50,000, which I don't, there, that'd be 13%. So you can sort of decide how much of it you own. That doesn't mean that in the last hour of the competition that people don't come in and vote some more. So it'll come out however it comes out. I'll vote some more on collectibles because I do like collectibles. But these go descending in order of popularity. So if you come way down to the bottom, a lot of people don't make it this far, but there's some good ones down here. Like everything positive, that'd be a great layer. Hey, pick me up. It's like eye bleach or something, but mind bleach. Travels. These have like 2-3 lore in them, and that's it. So up there a minute ago, I put in 1,000 lore and I had 0.3% ownership because there's so many other tokens in there and so many other users. If you want to actually get a big chunk of something, you could come in here, say like the real estate or everything positive, right? And oh man, by the way, everything positive will be so easy to vote in. You could upvote, downvote stuff just based on whether it's positive or not, and that's the only criteria. But I could come in here, there's 3 lore, right? I could just literally put in 3, and I own 50% of that if it passes, right? And if enough people do that, you'll get unique voters up high enough to make the layer pass and win. So it doesn't have to be a huge investment. It doesn't have to be a lot of lore at all. All you need to do is be using the system enough to generate some lore naturally. After a couple of weeks, you'll start seeing, wow, I got some lore in there that I can really start using to vote on new layers for. And that's how you can progress into an owner of a layer. You'll get those a lot. You don't have to spend anything. You don't have to take them out to Ethereum. You don't have to spend any gas fees. You don't have to do any of that. You can if you want. You can sell them. They're just an asset. It's an NFT, just like any other NFT. But these come, instead of pretty pictures, they come with utility and ownership and income and things like that. Right. So that probably exhausts my talking on matter and lore and a lot. I like talking about that, though, so I'm not mad at all. I'll talk about it for another hour, probably, if I could. Yep, covered that. So, yesterday. Let's move on to Super Happy from yesterday. That was cool. And another note that Joe said in the beginning of that episode was nothing on that show is or ever has been or ever will be financial advice or suggestions to buy anything or any of that. And that's important because there's some exciting stuff happening that is, it's already being talked about. There isn't like a big official announcement thing, but what Joe said yesterday is pretty close to, it's the closest thing that I've seen someone from the team say, which is like, okay, this week there's going to be a talk at COP26. It's going to be from Artemis Technology Group. It's going to be involving what, if you watched the, what was it called? The UN General Assembly. If you watched that, there was a talk from Amanda Martinez of Artemis Technology Group. And what she said was basically that she wasn't going to say anything, except she'd give a teaser and say that at COP26, which is last week and this week, that she was going to be revealing what her and her company was working on with Dragon Chain. So they did publicly say that at the UNGA, that they were, doing something with Dragon Chain, but she was going to wait until COP26 to say what it was. So with that, I personally, with no other knowledge, expect that that's exactly what's going to happen, is that Artemis is going to talk at the UN, at COP26, and they're going to talk about what they've been building with Dragon Chain. and you might start seeing a lot of buzz about it because it's probably going to be amazing, and it's going to bring a lot of, to me, the important thing is that there's been a lot of emotions floating around the last couple of months because all of the cryptosphere, I guess, is starting to go nuts. And people that just sit around and look at the chart all day, not to diminish you and put down traders, I'm just not a trader, so I don't tend to do that. I look at it a lot, but I don't get mad about it. A lot of people that do try to find meaning in charts instead of doing a lot of very difficult research and analysis of information will see the whole crypto market going nuts, and then they'll look at Dragon Chain and see, like, look, it's just straight. It's a stable coin. What's going on? It isn't moving. Which is incredibly good. In a crypto market, everyone complains about volatility, and then now the one thing that's dependably, not that volatile is the enemy of the state or something. So I hope that it'll relieve a lot of people's personal frustration, because it'll bring legitimacy to, like, no, Dragon Chain really is doing stuff. We aren't just talking about it, or they aren't just talking about it. And here's an example of just one customer who's doing a really big thing. And it should be sort of a window into what else is coming too, because that's just one of them. So I said all that because I don't know when Amanda or Artemis or anybody is talking. I just know that it's supposed to be this week sometime. I scrubbed the schedule of events and didn't see anything in there right now, but I didn't look too hard. It was just this morning. So if anybody has info on when Artemis Technology Group, or they have a couple of other names, Artemis Technology Group, Artemis Climate Partners, bunch of Artemis stuff, when they're going to be talking, I would love for you to just drop it. You can drop it right in on my Twitter or on Den as a reference here. Somebody else has posted, I forget who it was, but there's another post on Den somewhere with some links to COP schedules and saying that they're looking to see when it's going to be. So look out for that and let us know if you see when that's going to be. There is another company called Artemis, though, at COP26, who is or did do a presentation. And I made the mistake of thinking that was the one, and I went off down a rabbit hole and figured out that I was looking at the wrong Artemis. So the one with the boat, the really cool boat, it's not the one. So look for the other Artemis if you're looking for that. So yeah, that's what I'm looking for this week. That'll be cool. I want to see what's going on because I'm nosy. I work on Den a lot. I know a lot of the Dragon Chain people, but I don't ask them. I don't know a lot about what's going on with Dragon Chain. I stay in my lane. I like people. I like, I like building something that's not Facebook, because I don't like what they're doing. That's what I'm into. So I can honestly say I don't know, and I'm not lying or hiding that. So Lair governance, that was brought up too. I mentioned it a couple of times. What that's going to be is another iteration of decentralizing Den. I've said before that we sort of started in a centralized, okay, let's build something, and then we can piece by piece decentralize it as we make sure that it's right on the way out, instead of building it all at once and then saying, here it is. So I think that's the right way to do it. It's a hybrid way of somewhere between Ethereum and Cardano, right? Ethereum was like, here's something, let's put it out there and then just like fix it as it breaks. And, everybody's going to be bleeding with cuts and bruises on them. But as long as you're willing to do that, you can help us build. And then Cardano's over here like, nope, nobody can play in this until we're absolutely finished with it. And we think it's 100% complete. And then, boy, when you put that out there, it better work, right? Because you've been building this up for a long time, and it better work as soon as you release it. Den's doing something in between, right? Den took a proof of concept, tried to get Reddit to adopt it because they wanted something exactly like this. They didn't care, which is fine. We're not trying to be Reddit anyway. It's a it's a terrible place. And then instead of just like putting everything decentralized at once, we started the team started decentralizing a little bit at a time. And that started with the lot tokens, the Lair ownership, where you can split up ownership. That's happening more so with the governance, especially where then you can have people really take on ownership of their own layers in the communities. And that'll let me do what I've been waiting for, which is to build a company on top of that in the Gainesville layer and use the lot tokens as governance tokens in my company for people who are working on local Gainesville stuff. And we're going to do parties and we're going to do a music festival. And I've got people waiting to do that, and it's all figured out. It's just going to take time. And then once governance is out, we can really just start prioritizing different things to see what's most important to the community. What do we want now? What's next? Here's the options that we have to work on. Let's talk about which one's going to be focused on next, that kind of thing. So we take those decisions mostly out of the control of the centralized company. We put it out there and we decentralize the decision making. And in the end, the whole thing will be decentralized, right? Who knows where we'll go? Maybe it'll be running on a decentralized service node network. I don't know. That'd be great. I'm a miner. I'm a service node operator. Always have been, as far as I can remember being involved with this stuff. So I would love to get into more stuff like that. So that's the effort: is incrementally, iteration by iteration, decentralizing the platform completely. There was a question about L5 nodes, and there was another question that I'll just try to remember and I'll hit it. I don't know if it was in the comments here or elsewhere, but somebody asked why L5s would be opened up to the public. Right now, they're not. An L5 is the interchain node. So you've got Dragon Chain, the company, and Dragon Net, the network, and then you've got Bitcoin over here. And so what Dragon Chain does is they have their own network that is decentralized, fast, infinitely scalable, as many transactions per second as you want, like do all your work. And if you're a Bitcoiner or if you're an Ethereum person, maybe even think of it as a side chain if it helps you, or an L2. But you do all this stuff on DragonNet, and everything that's done gets, well, there's a lot of different stuff you can do, but by default, you at least get everything verified out to Bitcoin, right? And the L5 node is what does that. It takes all of your transactions from your server, like Den, for example, is running on DragonNet. The reason that we can put every vote, every edit, reply, what else is there? Mind blank. Everything that you do, you can put not only that you did it, but when it was done. You can prove like how much energy was spent on it, who said what and when, if there's ever any question about it. All of that, we can put that on chain for free and still use Bitcoin as the the measurable proof of that information. So if there's ever a question, you can say, nope, here's the transactions, here's what you're asking about, right? Because every post is a transaction, every vote is a transaction. You can look at that batch of transactions. You could go back if there's any legal dispute. Somebody ends up in court over like who said what and when. What did you know and when did you know it? That kind of thing. You could go to the company then, right, and say, hey, I've got this thing. Can you give us like a proof report of what happened and when? And we could say, here's what happened and when based on Bitcoin. And if you look at the Bitcoin hash power that has been used since the time that was posted, you can actually measure how provable it is. You can measure how reliable that information is. And you can measure I'm sure I've got one somewhere here. Let's see. Internal. Okay, I'll use this one. You can prove beyond anyone's reasonable doubt that something happened when it happened. So this is a proof report for Twitter. It's a different website. But a long time ago, September 21st, it seems like a long time ago. Wow. Time moves slow in crypto, doesn't it? Anyway, this could very easily be a DIN proof report. And in fact, we do plan on putting these proof reports later on. It isn't a priority right now to where you could just download, like this button says right here, you could download it yourself. And this instead would be a DIN post instead of a Twitter post. But this is a really good proof of concept to show that I've saved this tweet to eternal.report. This is free. Anybody can use it. You don't have to have an account or anything. And then I can say, okay, since I saved this, there's been 647 YADA hashes applied to the Bitcoin blockchain. And it would cost $900 million to fake this data. Because to fake it, you would have to go back and reorg the chain. I'm getting a little bit into blockchain and maybe technical stuff for some of the viewers, but you would have to go back and reorg the chain. You would have to fake all of that. You would have to out-mine all of the miners. You would have to 51% attack not only Bitcoin, but also Ethereum, because Ethereum, is the other network that we're interchained with for these proof reports. So you would have to completely break Bitcoin, which would be a globally devastating, everyone knows you did it action. And you would have to completely break Ethereum, which nobody would notice, but it's still there. That's a joke, I'm sorry. And you'd have to spend $1 billion at least doing it. And then not only have you spent $1 billion, but you've also signaled to the entire globe that you did it. So everyone knows. You can't just like put something in there and fake it at that point, because now everyone knows that it's been compromised. So yeah, any reasonable person could look at this proof report and say, yep, that's what was said, and that's when it was said. And there's nobody who can dispute that. And that's cool, because that is the power of writing our own history as it happens, without anybody in the future being able to go back and rewrite the history books based on how they would like to be it perceived. And that's, a little more cosmic than maybe I should go on this show. Cosmic Dave, that should be a different show, huh? Maybe a weekend one. So let me get out of here. That's Eternal. I would say use eternal.report. It's dope. Like, seriously, if you just go to eternal.report and you put in a tweet, like if I just go grab a random tweet right now, I'll demonstrate it since I'm right here. What do I want to tweet? What do I want to grab? Who's in here? All right, Gulf Coast, what do you got? All right, so Gulf Coast, this is a great example. So here's Gulf Coast calling it. Dragon's going to take off, and here's why. I'm going to like it because I do, and I'm going to share it and grab that copy link to tweet. I'm going to go back to Eternal, and I'm simply going to paste that tweet into here. You can also save arbitrary text or a web page or whatever. I'm just going to do the tweet, and I'm going to archive tweet. And then what that's doing is it's going out to Twitter, it's grabbing the tweet, it is sending it through Eternal's L1 business node, and then that's where it's right here. You can see it's showing up purple, L1. And then it tracks it, just like when you, if you've ever ordered a pizza and you have a little tracking thing, like how long it's going to take for Domino's to get to you. This is your data that you're saving to Eternal on its way through DragonNet to the L2 nodes, the L3, the L4, and eventually the L5. When it hits the L5 and that turns purple, that's when it's gone to Bitcoin. And that's when it's gone to the Ethereum chain. And with Ethereum going proof of stake, you'll be able to have two different consensus mechanisms proving your data. You'll have a proof of work, which in my opinion is the most important, most measurable, most decentralized way to prove something. And then you'll have proof of stake as well, just in case, Satoshi included a 0 day that we didn't know about and he nukes the blockchain. Who knows, right? Non-zero chance. Let's account for it. Cool, we'll do 2 blockchains. Or 5 or 12 or however many we want, but we're doing 2 here. So you can refresh and you can see this going through DragonNet. It should be through the L2s already, good, and the L4s. So right here in the middle, if you're miners or node runners for Dragon Chain, these are L2, 3, and 4. These are your community. These are your decentralization nodes on DragonNet. Before it gets decentralized proof all the way out to Bitcoin, it gets decentralized on 3 different L2 nodes from 3 different operators, and an L3 that makes sure that the L2s were diverse enough, and an L4 that does a legal notary sort of, in case a notary is required. L4 is a notary node, and those people or entities or businesses have been KYC with Dragon Chain so that they can vouch for data too. And they're just signing them as they come across. Nobody sees what you are sending across DragonNet. They're just signing it blindly, saying, yep, I saw this at this time. And each node has its own blockchain, so you can independently go in, view all the records. So that's how that works. Wasn't on the agenda, but there's your tutorial for saving something to eternal. Boom. Let's close that out. Let's close that out. We don't need the white paper anymore. Let's go back to the agenda and let's scroll down while I have some more coffee. Node rewards. Should we talk about node rewards? Yeah, let's do that. I saved a post. Nope, that's mine. Nope, that's not. Oh, also, there's not a lot of creators on Den right now. There's maybe a dozen that I can think of max. Maybe half of that, somewhere in there. But that's awesome. Thank you. I'm trying. I'm not a creator by practice, so I'm going to have to take some practice to become one, and I'm glad that it's at least being positively reviewed. Thank you for choosing me as your favorite creator on Den. I'm going to go through here today. I'm going to tip out everybody who voted for me, and I'm going to tip out everybody who said something in the replies here as well, because I'm happy about that. Here's what I was looking for. So Nimrod got pissed off at what Joe said on Super Happy yesterday. Not the only one. There's been several people so far that have expressed concern over not being able to earn enough rewards from mining or running validation nodes for Dragon Chain. If you, let's say you have a virtual private server, a VPS on, like DigitalOcean or AWS, or hopefully somebody cheaper. There's, Amazon is really expensive on their hosting and stuff like that, even for small nodes. But that comes with a cost. And that might be $5 a month. It might be $15 a month. It might be, I think the cheapest one I've got is like $3 or $4. I run an Oxen service node on that one. But before you start looking at the math of how the rewards and the money works out, you got to understand something pretty important about how the consensus mechanisms on Dragon Network. It's a time-based system. It's secured by time itself. But really, I look at it as sort of this is a hybrid company, and a lot of things that a lot of the design choices are a hybrid decision I've seen. And that makes for a really robust and strong and sustainable project and company. But to the point, when you're running nodes on DragonNet, whether it's an L2 or an L4 or an L3, you're staking time. That time is built from holding Dragon tokens, and you get a 1-for-1 time per day per Dragon. So if you hold 10 Dragon tokens, in one day, you'll earn 10 time on your account. The next day, you'll have 20, and then 30, 40, 50, linear all the way out. If you never get any more or put any more in there, it's 10 per day. The important thing is if you ever move that original Dragon, those tokens that started building time, if you ever move those out of your wallet, then it completely wipes all of your time. It erases it. So that's incentivizing people to do two things. One, it's incentivizing people to hold their tokens on a private cold wallet, right? That's safe. You don't want people to leave their tokens on an exchange. So since this is programmable money, why don't we program it to be to incentivize people to do the safe thing and protect their funds, even if they don't learn about why, like, cryptocurrency and exchanges are dangerous to keep your funds on. They can at least understand that, oh, if I don't take this to my personal wallet, I'm not going to build time. And if I move it back and forth a whole bunch, like keep it on hot wallets, I'm going to start wiping time every time I move it. So that's one reason. The other reason is that you want trustworthy people to run your nodes. You want to incentivize people to be good actors. You want more honest people in the room than dishonest people. And just by human nature, you have to think about what a person might do. What is there a non-zero chance of happening, and how do I mitigate that or defend against it? And one way you can do it is you can just make sure that people who are holding the tokens generally are looking to protect their investment or their holdings, and not so much like trade the tokens back and forth. That tends to be the more like what am I getting at? Not more reliable is an okay word, but it's sort of a negative. I'm not trying to shit on anyone that doesn't hold their tokens for a long time, but it's just if you see the way that people act, you're gonna tend to get people who are in it for the tech, are in it for the long term. If you use a system like this, so what I wanted to really try to drive home by saying all that is that DragonNet is only as secure as you make it. It's only as secure as the communities running the unmanaged validation nodes, the L2s and the L3s and stuff. Those are the people who have put skin in the game. They're holding tokens, and they're deciding either for a profit or a loss or to break even to run a node that they themselves manage, and so that then they know personally is a good node on the network. So that if there are bad nodes, if there are people who have taken the software, modified it to do bad things, and are running those nodes on the network, that they don't outnumber the number of good nodes. So everyone who's holding long term should consider if it's worth it to them to run a node that further decentralizes the network to bring security and safeguarding not only yours but everybody else's Dragon tokens that they need to use for their business or they need to use for their nodes. If you're like me, just mining, trying to get payout, eventually, let's say, I mean, I mine all kinds of stuff. I mine Oxen. I've mined Bitcoin in the past. I don't anymore. I'm getting into Pirate Chain. I'm really falling in love with that a lot. And I have been running Dragon nodes for a year or two now. I don't expect my Dragon nodes to be like a paycheck until this company is so big that, like, oh, Dragon Chain, it's like the other Ethereum, right? That kind of thing. Me personally, I'm protecting my stash. It's not costing me any money. I run it locally. I don't pay for hosting. I use my own IP address at home. I like networks and security and stuff like that. So I've set up a secure system so that I don't get any hackers and stuff like that in my system. But it's really up to the individual to decide what's worth it to them. If you want to trade, don't worry about running nodes. If you want to make money, if you're in it for profits and things like that, short term, maybe running nodes is not your short term goal. That's a long term goal. Yeah, I think that's mostly what I wanted to say. I wanted to wrap on that a little bit just because there's different opinions about what the point of running a service node is. And if your only concern is to make the most money, then I would say go run something else. If it's not making enough money for you, maybe it's not for you. It's for me, it's for a lot of people, but it's not for a lot of people too. And that's okay. And that's fine. You're still welcome on Den and we love you and that's great. But if you come in and shit on us and talk about how you're, the CEO is terrible and this company is going to the trash and all that, it's not always personal whenever we throw shit back at you. So that's it. Just it ain't personal. It's just a response to how the question was posed sometimes. So don't get pissy out there, please. If you disagree, come on and talk about it. I've got a link at the bottom of this post every week, inviting people to come on and talk about it. But it has to be nice. We can't yell and say bad words. It's a family show. All right, we covered that. Germany. This is interesting. Angel Breaker posted about taxes in Germany over in the cryptocurrency layer. And this is a country that I'm thinking about moving to. I was there recently. I have family there. My wife's from Germany. Her whole family is there. Let me see what's on Twitter real quick. Somebody's talking to me or... Nope, not me. Good. And apparently, according to this, they're changing their crypto tax laws. And it's interesting because they're going from, and I'm just going to take this on its face. I haven't validated this or determined if it's accurate or not. but I'm assuming it is. I know Angel Breaker a little bit, and it's not somebody to make shit up. So they're changing their rules. Apparently, they have a 25% tax on quote unquote gains for swapping cryptos internally. I don't personally understand that, because if you're trading two things of equal value, unless it's a sales tax somehow, I don't know how that works. Like, I understand how taking it out to fiat works, because you put it, assuming you put it in as fiat and you take it out, you can look at it like a stock trade or something. Doesn't count for miners and stuff like that, you know. But and then selling them, they had a 0% tax if it's a long-term HODL, which is fantastic because that's my style, right? And then the new one, I kind of like it. It's weird though. So the change is a 52% tax on selling cryptos to fiat. So if you go to a market and you buy a cryptocurrency like Bitcoin, and Bitcoin pamps, because it does all the time, and then you're like, oh, sweet, I can buy a Lambo, and you take it out, well, now you can buy less than half a Lambo because you've only got 48% of what you took out, right? That's pretty bad if you're a trader. If you're not a trader, wait, no, that's the old rule. If you weren't a trader, then you get zero tax. So maybe this is not as good as I thought, because I thought I liked it. I do like this. I do like 0% on swapping cryptos internally, like crypto to crypto trades, because that's typically all I ever do. If I'm going to buy a token, I'm not going to go to my bank and say, hey, bank, can I buy a token, you know, and wire some money to an exchange? Like, that's old world legacy banking stuff. I'm not going to ever do that unless I have to. What I'm probably going to do is I'm going to go to my nodes that I run, and I'm going to say, okay, do I have some Bitcoin? Do I have some Oxen? Do I have some, you know, some pirate tokens? Do I have whatever else I'm mining that year? And I'm going to take some of it out of my digital wallet, send it to an exchange, and I'm going to swap it for something on the exchange. And that's a crypto to crypto swap. And the one that I buy, I'm going to take it out as cryptocurrency, and I'm going to use it as cryptocurrency, because I'm not trying to go like buy Lambos. I'm trying to save the fucking world. I want to run decentralized service nodes. I want to take power away from really bad people that control things. So that's my incentive. And I apparently wouldn't get taxed on that in Germany, which is amazing. And then I can find places to hopefully spend Bitcoin directly, which I took a tour around and saw at least one randomly. I just passed by like a Bitcoin area in a town. And I've been reading about some other cities that have been doing the same thing, where they have Bitcoin only businesses and things like that. So Germany could be a place to do that and just not worry about it. And then selling to fiat, 27% tax. That's your long term. So you've gone from a long-term 0% tax to a long-term 27%, which is more in line with kind of how it is in the US. But you've gone from a crypto trading internally 25% tax to a 0%, which I think makes sense personally, because like when you're swapping between cryptocurrencies, you're typically taking a measure. Let's say I wanted to take some Bitcoin and I wanted to swap it for some pirate chain coins. I would swap for something of equal value. I'm not gonna, you know what I mean? That's like, it's weird to tax when you're swapping for equal value. So I like that. And then selling cryptos that you've held for less than a year, personal tax 52%. Honestly, like, I can see that being really freaking annoying and terrible, but it also is sort of incentivizing you to stop trading and HODL, which is something that I'm not against either. So I don't know, it's got a little bit of both. I changed my mind. What I said on down here was that I personally love it and hope it sticks, but I hadn't read it a second time. And now that I've read it a second time, I still like it. But I think I'm on both sides of that fence. I'm not sure where I am on it. But it's not as terrible as it could be. Could always move to Portugal, right? Or El Salvador. So there's a little bit of tax talk. And I don't know if I want to get to that one or not. I might, if I decide to. What time is it? It's 10 o'clock already. I've been talking for an hour? Really? Wow. One thing, okay, here's what I'll do then. I want to go through the rest of these questions, and I also do have a couple of quick answers for some of them as well. So let's see, did I miss anything? That's the first one. Let me roll down this and see where we're at. I said it's something I said was that it's currently only profitable to run locally or without hosting fees. That can be untrue if you're running an L4. There's a caveat to that. There's you've got a KYC and you've got to qualify to run an L4, but those pay out a little bit more. Let's see here. What else do we got? Interoperability in real world use cases. Yeah. You don't have to, interoperability. Interoperability is why you don't have to take your lot or your matter out of Den, out to Ethereum to use it. You can just leave it in your account on Den, and it'll automatically start mining for you. And if you do hold tokens, matter or lot externally in your Ethereum wallet, as long as you have that Ethereum wallet claimed on Den, meaning you've signed a private with your private keys, you've signed to say, yep, I own this wallet, then our system can just intelligently look at Ethereum and say, yep, here's that account, here's what they have, and give you credit for that as well. So you don't ever have to spend the gas fees. You can just claim your wallet and use it that way. So interoperability is great because it allows us to scale Bitcoin, it allows us to scale Ethereum, and it allows us to interoperate with anything that we want to interoperate with. We can interoperate with an IBM mainframe if we want. It doesn't matter. DragonNet is cool like that. They can interoperate with freaking, I don't know, what's something obscure and what's the word? Uninteroperable. Yeah, I can't think of anything because we can do it all. I'm also a fanboy, so I'm going to say that. But it's true. We can interoperate with anything, even if it's not even like a... You can interoperate with a mechanical computer if you want. It's just a matter of designing the interface. Let's see. There's a couple on these that I will add to the agenda for next week. I'm also going to add governance to that agenda and talk about that a little bit. I've got some mock-ups that I can share. There's a couple of governance votes up. Actually, go into the governance layer if you have any. If you are a governance token owner, check out the governance layer, Den.gov 21. There's a couple of proposals in there about governance that we can vote on. How to get percentage ownership. Okay, cool. We did cover that. Excellent. Totally agree with this point. Oh yeah, here's what I wanted to say. This is important. There really should be a shorter than 1 minute video for a lot of different things. I haven't made them yet. I'm going to make them. I am finishing up an FAQ. I do have, let me see, I'm going to pull it up in a different window and then copy the link just so I don't show anything on screen that shouldn't be. Let's see here. Go to Den. On Den, you can have private layers. You can have, let's say your company wants to have one, or let's say you have, for example, Fellowship of the Order of Dragons has a private layer, and I have put a draft of our FAQ in there. Let's see. Yep, cool. So let me just share this link to my other browser and bring it up for you. I'm going to go way over an hour just because I never really promised to keep it less than an hour. All right, so this should just bring this one page up. Yes. So, right. There's an FAQ in the works. This was started by Blake, Tenacious Dragon, and then I took his work, put some more things up at the top, and then all these questions, this long list of questions, if you click on them, it'll unroll into the answer, right? So I'm trying to make this easily navigable, easy to navigate, and I am going to make it a little bit prettier to read. Like right now, I'd like to have the text that comes down maybe bold or, you know, something to differentiate it from the question. Because if you have a bunch open, it gets kind of hard to read. But this is where I'm going with it. This should be published before too long. And there's a lot of really good information in here that are short answers to specific questions, right? How much is the energy pool? 2.5%. What is tipping? Tipping is a reward or acknowledgement that denizens can give to fellow denizens. A lot of those are going to be answered in here. And then some of them, like, let's see, can I purchase lore? Yes. This should be a less than 1 minute video as well. And there could be a little like, here's how you do it. Click on this, click on that, yada, yada. So that somebody who's never done it before can see someone do it, so they have more confidence that they're doing the right thing. So yeah, I just wanted to say that that's coming right around the corner. It's almost done. I just need to make sure formatting and all that stuff is great and good to go. I would like to see that end up in settings somewhere down by the overview or white paper. I'm not sure where we can put it right now. There, and maybe on the main splash screen too. And that'll also let people have easy access to where, let's say, like you wanted to send somebody the FAQ, it's got the links to the apps right at the top. It's got the links to the guides and walkthroughs right at the front and that kind of thing. So yeah, I'll make some short videos, and the FAQ will be out pretty soon too, so that'll help a lot. Suggestion, thumbs up, and I'm gonna tip everybody, but I'm gonna tip everybody. Let's see, Matter's like almost 50 cents now, right? What is Matter right now? Let's see. Let's go to, oh, you know how I can find it? At the bottom of this. Boom, buy. That takes you to Uniswap. At the bottom of your wallet on the desktop page, you go down to there's the two tokens that you can buy. So it's 46 cents. Great, right? So I'm gonna tip out at least like $1 to who? To who? Where was I? Where was this question I was just on? Yes, here. Cool. So I'm gonna tip. And I'm gonna tip out like 3 Matter. Thank you very much. And that goes for everybody else too. I'll give everybody 3 Matter. And if you post and you reply in next week's, I'll do the same. There is any more questions? Let me go through. Let's see. Okay, here I was. Thank you. And this was, why would you change the status quo for the public nodes? We have public nodes, L2, 3, and 4, and then the discussion on Super Happy yesterday was that the L5s may be open at some point, especially if you're a business who just needs to access a different blockchain. If you're willing to run that node yourself as part of the like business arrangement or something like that between Dragon Chain, then I'm sure that there's going to be like no issue with, yep, cool. In fact, if it's somebody else running the node and they're reliably running that node, that L5, the interchains, that's less the Dragon Chain has to do. So I'm sure that'll be very welcome. I think it's more like not public per se, but open to anybody who wants to qualify for it, similar to how L4s are. You have to meet certain criteria, and then it's like, sure, get an L4. That's exactly what we want. If somebody were to come for an L5 and they had exactly what we want, cool, have an L5. That's great. So I think that's more along the lines of what it is. Less so, like the way that L2 nodes and L3 nodes are, is literally anybody could run one from anywhere. And that's where I was saying, more honest nodes than dishonest ones are really important. What else? Enthusiasm. I try to be, but it is early. Thank you for the props. Thank you for the kind words. I really appreciate it. All right. Let's see. Decentraland. Is anybody, actually, let me make sure that I'm not ignoring someone. Let's see here. Nope, just me. Cool. Raj Patwa, good morning, Dave. I joined recently, so to me, your matter is mind-boggling. Nice. I love to boggle minds. So check it out. I didn't buy any of that. I just been messing with Den for like a year and a half. Just been building up. Maybe 2 years by now. What is it, November? It might be 2 years. I don't know. Time in pandemic times is like really squished together. So the last 2 years feel like it's either been really long like I said earlier, in crypto terms, or it's been like, wait, was that 3 years ago? It seems like maybe 6 months ago. Or I'm crazy, which is also true most of the time. So, um, yeah, it seems a little mind-boggling, but it's just over time, it's just built up like that. Now, I have bought Matter before, but I bought it for a different purpose, and it's in a different account for a community decentralized Gainesville project that I'm working on. But yeah, that's all Den. It's just payouts on Den. Haven't spent $1 on it. I've just been putting time into it. That's it. So definitely something that anybody could pull off over time. It just takes a while. I'd say give it a year and then see what you got. I don't know. You might end up with a lot more than I do. Another question, and this is the last one. So let's see. How are Matter payouts determined? Is there a difference between voted post Matter payout and voted comment Matter? Yes, there is. If one post gets 3,000 energy and one comment gets 3,000 energy, will both get the same Matter reward? Or is there a difference between the post and the comment rewards? So there's a chart or something that there's like an algorithm spelled out in the white paper that really thoroughly explains this. But in a nutshell, you've got a post and then you've got comments under the post. The comments under the post, or the replies, are helping this post with both Matter mining and visibility. And then whenever someone upvotes your comment, a percentage of that, I don't know if it's 5% of that or if it's some other number, a percentage of the energy that goes into the reply votes is applied to the original post, because the original post is what got you to be engaged in the first place. So to reward the post's presumptive quality for getting people to interact, whether it's something controversial, whether it's something like that angry post that I pulled up earlier that got a lot of comments on it, that person probably earned some rewards for that. And in fact, someone made a joke. They said, hey, congratulations, you probably made more Matter in this post than you have running your nodes. So see, they do look out for node runners. It's a tongue-in-cheek kind of, backhand joke or whatever, but I thought it was pretty funny. Point is, yeah, there is a percentage of your energy that you're applying to a comment that goes into the original post for calculating payouts. So, yeah, I guess that's the simplest way to put it. Is some of the reply energy goes into the OP, and but the rest of it goes to the commenter. And you can look at your payouts and see. Like if I look at mine, let's see. Oh, I promised to talk about boosts. I'm going to stop there on the payouts thing. Keep it simple, because I do want to talk about boosts real quick. Because boosts are, I consider them an additional role of a denizen. I said you can be a content creator, you can be an evaluator, you can be a consumer of the content, you can be an owner of a layer where you're facilitating a community to build itself up and to produce content and things like that. Those are the 4 roles that are laid out in the overview. But in my opinion, the 5th role would be advertiser. We don't have advertising. We don't have ads. We don't take any of your data and mine it to sell it to advertisers so that they know who to advertise to. This is the old world method of tracking your users and feeding on them and making sure that they pay your bills. Instead, we just take an email address. That's all we need. And advertising is done by the community through boosts, through boosted posts. So if I wanted to, let's say this coffee with Den that's boosted right here. If I have external boosts on this, and I can click at this, let me go back. I just clicked on the rocket is what I did. So if you click on the rocket, it'll tell you how the boost is, what's the word? It'll tell you how it's built, how much is internal and how much is external. I like to do external boosts because then what you're doing, and actually I'll just say that internal boosts, all that's doing for you is it's helping your rank in the layer. It's helping you show up earlier, sooner, maybe before someone's able to vote on it. External boosts is very much like let's say I am boosting my post like here. I can put matter into a bucket and say, all right, anybody who takes this, who hits this share button down here at the bottom, where is it at? Right here. Anybody who hits this share button, it'll say link copied when you click it or when you touch it on your phone. You'll get a personal reference attached to the end of that. So if I post at the top of here, it's the same link as before, right? Episode 3, if I go back to where was I? Here. Yes. So episode 3, and on the end of that, you'll see now it's got this reference with this number on the end. So what that does is that is a way of Den, the system, knowing which user has shared that post. So if I take that and I copy it and I open up my Facebook account, I've got some friends on Facebook that I've been trying to start like getting into. Oh, look, an old picture. There's me and my dog. I've been trying to get some friends of mine on Facebook to check out Den and see what I'm doing and things like that. So what I can do is I'll just piggyback this because people love the 3 years ago memory photos, right? I'm going to share this. And Facebook sucks, so never mind. Cannot do it. All right, whatever. Let me just do this then. So I'm on Facebook. I'm not on Den, but this is where the external boosts get really as creative as you want, because then you can take a piece of content from Den and you can use it anywhere outside of Den, whether it's a text message or whether it's Facebook or whether it's a QR code that you print out and slap on the back of a bathroom stall so that somebody using it will be bored enough to scan it and see what it's all about, right? Whatever you want to do, I don't care. But what I'm going to do is say, just wrapping up my new Wednesday morning show about Den. Check it out here if you missed it. And I'll see you again next week. My fingers are working a little bit better this morning. I've had a time to wake up, I guess. And so I paste that in. And so I pasted that link that I just copied from way over here when I hit share. And I got that reference link that gave me this little tag at the end of it. So I've pasted that in there to share the post. And Facebook gives me a little preview, whatever. I post it. Now, when anybody that's in my Facebook friends group or whatever sees that post right here, and if they're curious enough to click on it like that, that's going to tell the external boosting system, it's going to click through with that reference, right? If you see the address up here, there's more things happening. I've got that reference, and I've also got a bunch of other junk that probably Facebook, click ID, all that stuff. But it's coming back with this reference still right here. So it knows, oh, this is the one that Dave is sharing. So let's say I do that, and Rockstar does that, and MB Crypto does that, and all of you that are watching this show does that. When you see that boosted rocket next to it, the next day or whenever the boost expires, because you can split it up over a bunch of days, right? It'll pay out a percentage of whatever I put into that bucket to the users that shared it. So that's a way of saying, look, I'm probably going to make maybe like some matter on this post, right? So I'll take a bit of what I expect to earn, and I'll put that into an external boost. And first of all, that'll probably help me earn more to pay for the boost itself. And then also I'm spreading that out to everyone who wants to participate in this morning show and help me build it and give me feedback and share it with your friends. I'm literally saying, share this and you get paid. Here's some money. I put it in as the creator. I put it in just like I'm paying for an ad or something like that, right? I put it into the external boost, and then the algorithm takes care of, okay, these people got this many clickbacks and referrals and yada, yada. So if you're in an astronomy group, and there's a cool post in the science and space tech layer, you can share that with, text it to them or something. Hey, check it out. There's this new article up in so-and-so. Have you heard about this? Think about what types of people would like that type of content. And if you're good at that, you earn money. So I would say that's the fifth role of a denizen. If you wanted to just go to the main page, go to home, and you can just scroll down for these rockets, right? Look for the rockets. That's going to tell you which ones are boosted. And you should look at and see if it's got external boost on it. And if it's got external boost on it, go share it somewhere. Look at what it is. Think about who you know that might actually like to do that. Don't spam it around. Nobody likes spam. If you spam it around, people might click on it once or twice in the beginning, but then they're going to get sick of you and mute you. So if you're a really good advertiser, people aren't going to know that you're advertising. People are going to think that you're sending them relevant material because you are. So that's what I'll say about boosts. And if there's more specific questions about boosts, I can hit them next week for sure. Hope that helps. I think that was the last question here, right? Yeah, I think so. Dope. All right, I think that is almost an hour and a half. Reminders, there are a couple of episodes coming up. Tomorrow, there's a governance call tomorrow. So we'll be back on Den again. I'll be on with Joe. You can also pop in on that one. There's a link here in this post. Agenda is here, right? So go over to the governance call for tomorrow. Leave a comment here. Ask about something you would like to see discussed on the governance call. It'll be way shorter than this one. It's more of a business type call. You can join the call here if you want to discuss it live, just like we used to do on Twitter or Spaces. We would have some people pop in and talk just fine. Let's see. We're going to tip out, just like here, I'm going to tip out Matter to people who leave questions that get hit on the show, which we should probably hit all of them. So, think of something to ask, and you'll get rewarded for that, both in energy to go into your daily mining payouts, but I'll tip you out in Matter too, just to, get more people on board, incentives. So yeah, World Blockchain Roundtable is also tomorrow. That's going to be tomorrow morning at 11. We're going over privacy. I'm not going to make any promises about who might be on, but here's what I'll say. I'm really excited that there's like a 75% chance right now that we'll have both someone from a privacy project that is a fork of Monero, and someone that is from a privacy project that is a fork of Zcash, right? And if you know anything about privacy blockchains and privacy coins and things like that, you'll know that those are two very different approaches. Monero and Zcash are two very different approaches to the problem of privacy. And so it would be super interesting to have people that work with that every day on both sides of those, like examples of those solutions, in the same room together and chatting. And that's what we're going for. I'm pretty sure we got that happening tomorrow. And then, of course, I'll be there, which I try to always be if I'm around and available. Joe's going to be there, obviously. Greg will probably be there. He's always on. I hope we can get Satoshi Sean if he's free. He might be tied up with something, but it'll be a great show. So that I've got time and date for your time zone already worked out for you. Thanks again. I got this from the comments. Hey, why don't you use this? And they were right. It's a perfect tool. You can just scroll down to your city and see. So same thing with World Blockchain Roundtable. Go to the Lair. It's just, and make sure you subscribe to it, but it's towards the bottom under W. And you know how I've been saying, if you leave a question or a comment, I'll tip you out in Matter on my show or on the governance call. A little more interesting is that if you do the same here and you go to this first one that says World Blockchain Roundtable, also boosted, by the way, if you wanted to share that, you can leave a question that is privacy related specifically, and that'll get voted on by the community. And what we do is we usually take the full hour talking about the first few topics. That's been the trend lately. And then if we have time, we'll do a lightning round and we'll catch the rest of them. Anybody whose topic gets pushed to the top and it gets discussed on the show, you won't get Matter, you'll get lot. You'll actually get ownership tokens tipped to you. So really kind of interesting, because now there's some jet planes. Hold on. This show has its own layer, and so the layer can act as a governance tool for the show, and it can act as a way to distribute ownership of the show. So the owners here, these are people that have been on the show. The hosts get ownership for coming on the show and for talking and stuff like that, depending on how many views the videos get. So like I said, all this stuff feeding back into itself, it's an amazing engine, because then you're incentivizing not only the hosts but their fans to share it out, because then their host gets rewarded more if it gets shared out more. And then these people here, some of them have left really great questions, and they've gotten ownership tokens as well for participation. And then what that really means is not only can they decide, once we have the governance tools in pretty soon, they can help decide topics, they can help decide anything they want whenever there's a decision to be made. But then also, the better that this show does, the more payout they get, right? If it gets really popular, they own a percentage of the layer. And so then all the voting that happens in here is really just mining matter. And a cut of that goes to all the owners. And all the owners are just all the people that have come on the show or asked questions. It's you know? And that's what Den's all about, is spreading out ownership. The community owns itself. The community censors itself, not somebody else. The community decides what's appropriate based on each individual sub-community or layer. And this is one of the best examples I can think of how to run a show on and use Den to incentivize like just the growth of it and the health of it and things like that. So Catch World Blockchain Roundtable, leave some privacy questions for us to talk about tomorrow, and we'll hit them. All right, I've gone on for a solid hour and a half. I think that's a record. Let me know how long you want these things to be. I wonder what the average listening time frame is. All right, thanks everyone. I'm going to wrap it up. I will hopefully see some of you tomorrow, because I'm going to be on 2 different shows tomorrow, the governance and the blockchain roundtable. That's all I got. This has been Coffee with Den with Sweetwater Organic Coffee Company, brown sugar blend. I approve. Yeah, maybe next time I'll have some dog coffee. We'll see. Go Doge. Don't go. Don't buy Doge. If you want, you can do it, but don't. Maybe, I don't know. See, I don't know. Can't tell you anything. Not financial advice. Bye.